Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Byproduct Podcast. My name is Ian Pruckner, and I'm super excited to be hanging out here with you guys. As always, spending a few minutes together, getting better together, because when we get better, things get better. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you to all of you who rate and review and share these podcasts. You guys are making a big difference in the lives of so many people. So thank you so much for doing that. And if you're on social, grab your favorite quote, grab a clip, share it out, make sure to mention me, and I will do my best to make sure that I repost you, mention you back, and we'll all help each other grow. And so today I have a question, and that question is leadership dead? Is leadership dead? I feel like there's an absolute vacuum today in the world of leadership. Our politicians are devoid of leadership. So many of our corporate executives are devoid of leadership. It seems like technology and AI and all these new emerging ideas, Web3, that is where the world has gone and has left leadership by the wayside. But I don't think that leadership is dead. In fact, I think that leadership is needed today more than ever before. And I think that no matter who you are or where you are a leader. You are called to lead in life in some area of your life, whether that's at home, being the leader of your family, whether that's maybe a small group of people at work, maybe you're leading a big organization or a huge nonprofit. You are a leader. You were called to lead, and leadership changes things. In fact, leadership is the only thing that has ever changed things. And so today I want to talk to you on the podcast about 13 things that leaders do. 13 things that leaders do. And by the way, if you want to get the show notes, all you need to do is subscribe to my email list. And every time this releases, we're going to send you out the show notes totally free of charge. Make sure that you can share this information with your teams. You don't have to sit there and write like crazy, right? Trying to get all these notes. We're going to give them to you. Okay. But folks, leadership is not dead. Leadership is needed more than ever before. But here's the truth. Leadership is not something you do. It is who you are. It's not something you do. It's who you are. It's not a sometimes thing. It's an all the time thing. And I love John Maxwell's definition of leadership. He said that leadership is interrupting people's lives to take them places they couldn't take themselves. Leadership is interrupting people's lives to take them places that they could not take themselves. And that's what we do as leaders. Leaders essentially know the way, go the way, and show the way. Leaders have 13 things that they do that sets them apart. And so if you want to be a part of something special in your life, if you want to leave a legacy, if you want your life to matter and to impact and to change the people and the situations around you, you've got to step into these things. Number one, okay, is leaders are full of vision. Leaders simply see a future that other people don't see. They believe that they can direct a future that other people are waiting to direct them. Leaders are full of vision, not only full of vision, but a leader's vision has got to be big enough that they can fit the dreams and the visions of the people that follow them inside. Your vision's got to be so big that the people following you say, everything I want in my life can be a part of that person's vision. Leaders are full of vision, and it starts with vision. Number one. Number two is that leaders are learners. Not all learners are leaders, but all leaders are learners. Leaders are constantly growing. The thing that makes you a leader is a value gap. A value gap. You have information, skill sets, know-how, wisdom at this level. And the people following you have skill sets, know-how, wisdom at this level. That value gap is why people choose to follow you. And so if you don't keep learning, but the people that are following you keep learning, eventually your value gap goes away and there's no reason to follow anymore. You're not bringing anything of value. Leaders are learners. But more than learners, leaders are doers. They are models. They are examples. In fact, the only difference between a teacher and a leader is the doing, right? A teacher espouses the knowledge. The leader lives the knowledge. The leader becomes one with the vision and begins to act on that vision. Leaders are doers. Number four, leaders are duplicators. They don't just get results themselves. They don't just concern themselves with their own personal performance, but then they go back and they pull up the people following them. They empower and equip the people coming behind them, and they begin to duplicate their thinking, their behaviors, and their values into the people that follow them. Leaders are consumed by duplication. How do I not just get these results, but how do I teach others to get the results who are following? Next is leaders are mentally tough. They simply understand that leadership is lonely. People say leadership isn't lonely. Listen, as a leader, you're going to have a mile wide of acquaintances and an inch deep of true comrades, true people who really understand. As leaders, you carry a weight that other people have not agreed to carry. You have given up things like your right to negativity, okay? Your right to worry and to doubt and to complacency that other people still carry. The fact is, leadership is lonely because not everybody can come where you're going. Not everybody has been given the calling that you've been given. And so leaders are mentally tough. They understand that they may spend a lot of their time walking alone, but walk they must. But walk they must. They're willing to make the tough decisions. See, great leaders learn to say no to the good so that they can say yes to the best. Great leaders are willing to make the tough decisions that other people are simply unwilling or unable to make. Leaders are mentally tough. Next is leaders create and protect culture. They understand that they can't do all the heavy lifting by themselves, right? And so they create systems and culture that teaches people the values of the leader, that teaches people the decision-making capacity and processes of the leader. They create the culture and then they defend the culture. Culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? It's that great age-old saying, but that's true. Leaders are consumed by creating culture. They don't just want to duplicate, but they want to create an energy in their organization that is a shadow of themselves, that when they're gone, their decision-making, their values, their way of being and doing lives on through the culture of the organization. Next is leaders are resourceful. A great leader does what they can where they are with what they have. They're not waiting for the time to be perfect. They're not waiting for the extra funding. They're not waiting for this permission over here. They are forging ahead. Leaders are like dadgum entrepreneurial MacGyvers, right? Okay. They're taking everything they got and they're making something work. They shoot first and they aim second. They go out and they make things happen where they are with what they have. Leaders are resourceful. Leaders are empowerers. Leaders want to invest into people and empower those people to walk into their destiny. See, a leader isn't about me. A leader is ultimately about we. And the leader gives power, gives influence, gives authority, gives control over eventually to the people that they're leading. They empower them versus enable them. Most people today are enablers. Right? They're enablers. They allow people to stay stuck in the same destructive patterns, the same destructive habits, the same destructive thinking processes, the same destructive decisions. But a leader empowers people. They don't enable people. They're there to serve the people following them. And most people today think service is about giving people what they want. But real service, real leadership is not about giving people what they want. It's about helping to get people what they need to go to the place that they said they wanted to go. That's what we do. We interrupt people's lives to take them places they can't take themselves. And sometimes that's inconvenient. Sometimes that requires a tough conversation. Sometimes that requires real love. See, leaders love their people enough to confront them on their bull crap, enough to say, look, I don't think you're going the right way, enough to say, you're not going to do those destructive things anymore. That's real love. Love is not being somebody's friend when they're doing something destructive. Love is caring about somebody enough to step in and to change their life. If you had a child that suffered from an addiction and it was destroying their lives, okay, you wouldn't say, I'm loving them by allowing them to do their thing. You do you, boo, you just say whatever. No, If you had a child that was destroying their lives, you would move heaven and earth to interrupt that process in that child's life. You would say, you know what, you might not like me right now, but one day you're going to understand that I have done everything that I've done for you out of the deepest and utmost love and concern and care for your well-being. You wouldn't just let that destructive behavior go on. You'd do everything you could to stop it, to interrupt that pattern. And that's what leaders do. Leaders empower people. They don't enable people. They care enough to confront and to get people going to where they need to be. Next is leaders are committed. Leaders are the epitome of commitment. See, leaders do every day what everybody else does sometimes. They are consistent and they are committed. And when things change around them, when the world changes, when the culture changes, when the people change, man, they stay committed. Now, the methods might change, the process might change, but the dream never changes. See, the leader is committed to that vision. Next is leaders are prepared. They're prepared. They don't show up and wing it. Their destiny is too important. Their calling too significant to show up to life unprepared. Leaders prepare. I love what Abraham Lincoln said. He said, I'll prepare now so that one day my opportunity may find me. Right? Leaders prepare. The greatest act of faith is preparation. See, if you were pregnant, you'd probably prepare a room for that child. You'd get a crib. You'd put its name on the wall. You'd get some blankets. You'd buy some formula and some diapers. Why? Because you're expecting a child. See, faith is expectation, and preparation is the greatest act of faith. Says, I believe this is going to happen, and so I'm going to prepare. They prepare themselves mentally. They prepare themselves emotionally. They prepare themselves physically because they expect their dream to come to pass. Leaders are prepared. Next is leaders are not there for the goodies. They're there for the mission. Leaders are there ultimately first for the mission, for the cause, and for the people. And the rewards of leadership, the influence, the financial well-being, the fame and fortune sometimes. Those things are all byproducts, but they're their mission first. See, if you're there for the money first, you'll never stay. If you're there for the influence first, you'll give up when it gets tough. But when you are there for the mission, there is nothing in heaven and earth that can stop you from getting where you're going. And the money, the fame, the influence, all the trappings of leadership, those are the byproducts of a life well lived and a leadership calling realized. They're there for the mission first and the perks second. Leaders next are positive, but rooted. They're optimistic. They're can-do people. They're find a way or make a way sort of people. And yet they're rooted in reality. Their head is not so far in the clouds that they're of no earthly good, but they also look at problems as opportunities. They look at problems as a chance to get better, a chance to advance, right? They are positive, but rooted in reality, but looking at the way things could be, not necessarily the way things are. Next is leaders are great communicators. Leaders are great communicators. In fact, that's why people lead, because they can espouse a vision. They can make people feel a way around them that they don't feel anywhere else. The people can't wait to be around them. They're energized and excited and uplifted by the vision. They see their place, and that's all a form of communication. Leaders become great communicators. Leaders become great communicators. And here's a bonus. I know you knew that was 13, but here's a bonus. Leaders are masters of their emotion. Man, today, out of control emotion is a badge of honor, right? Everybody sits around waiting to see what the media says they should be outraged about now. But folks, when you give your emotional control away, you give your power away. Leaders master their emotional control. They're able to stay steadfast amidst times of trial, tribulation, and controversy. They don't give in to the sucker punch of emotion. They stay in control. They understand that they can't control what's happening around them all the time, but they can always control what happens inside of them. And that's one of the most attractive traits of a leader, is that calm in the storm. That confidence when everybody else is shaken, that ability to control themselves and not get baited in not get baited into giving away their power, to giving away their control, to doing and saying things they'll regret. Man, if you can control your emotion, you can control the world, because very few other people can do that. Folks, listen, leadership is learnable and earnable. You're not born a leader. You are created into a leader. You form yourself through learning, through duplication, through surrounding yourself by other great leaders. Folks, I believe that the greatest calling in any of our lives is leadership. Leadership of the people who God has entrusted into our life. That might be your kids. That might be your spouse. It might be your small group. It might be your business division. It might be a Fortune 100 company that you're leading. But I believe leadership is your greatest calling, because out of your leadership flows all the issues of life. How you lead determines how you live and the opportunities and the chances that the people have around you. You were born to lead. You're a great leader. You were born to do something special. And I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with us today. If you got some value out of this, go leave a comment, leave a review, post this out, share it on social. God bless you guys. Until next time, we'll see you soon.